You're watching Theme Park Worldwide, where it's time for yet another review. In this video, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on Lech Coaster. It's a roller coaster located at Legendia, which is a theme park in Poland. Now, Lech Coaster is known as a Bermuda Blitz coaster, and it's actually manufactured by Vekoma. This was the first Bermuda Blitz to be built by the company, and let's just say it's an absolutely incredible ride. It opened at the park in 2017 and was all part of a complete remodel of Legendia, and a lot of work was done throughout the park, and they wanted to install a big signature coaster, and that's exactly what Lech Coaster is. Now, as always with my reviews here on the channel, I'll start off by talking a little bit about the location of this ride within the park, because this one really important for Legendia in terms of where it's located. You walk in through the beautiful entrance street that's all recently been modernised as well, and you walk down there, and in the distance, directly across the lake from the entrance, you see Lech Coaster, and that's what really makes it for me. It's a staple ride that walking into the entrance of that park, it's perfectly lined up. As much as it's quite far away on the other side of the water, it's just beautifully lined up with that black and grey colour scheme that it's got over there. So straight away, you've got the first impressions of the coaster from a distance, the other side of this lake, and you think, wow, when you look at it. Of course, you then got the journey to get there. You can either go left or right around the lake, passing through various other rides and themed areas, and no matter which way you go, it's building up the excitement, the anticipation to get up to Lech Coaster. And when you get there, you're led down this pathway into a beautiful themed area that the coaster is located in. And this sort of leads me on to talk about the theme of the ride, because it's got quite an interesting backstory, something that's very important for the park and Poland itself. So it's based on the legend of Lech, the first Duke of Poland. Unsuccessfully, he attempted to capture a young eagle from its mother, and in this legend, basically, he learned that the importance of defending things you love, it's a really important thing to do, and the eagle became sort of the badge of Poland, and it's on the flag, and it's also built into the train design as well. So that's the story behind this. It's this Polish legend, and I really like that, and the fact that, they're very proud, of course, to have it on the Polish flag, and they really thought they'd sort of go in with that with the theme of the coaster. You've got this castle, it's got the Polish flags on there, of course the train's got the eagle on there as well, and it all comes together in this really nice themed area that's got pathways running all around the coaster. Of course, it's pretty as it is right next to the water, and what they've done with all the theming and near-miss elements, like I'll be talking about when we get onto the ride section shortly, but yeah, like the overall area as a complete package is stunning. There's a great soundtrack, and because everything's brand new around there, it just has a really nice quality feel about it. The theming, what they've done throughout Legendia over the past few years, is stunning. I've only actually been to the park once. That was a couple of years ago when I first went to Poland. I didn't see it before that, but the park went through a lot of change and some new ownership and management structure, and of course the nearby Legendia was opening up, so there was a lot of competition for them, so they had to change, they had to update things, and what they did with Lech, with the theming, absolutely stunning. So like I say, to go in with the story, you've got this castle, and that is the entrance to the queue line. It's also a shop for the ride, and most importantly, it is the station building itself that is raised up. So you enter into the queue line, you've got some low-level stuff, a little bit of cattle pen. When I was there, it was completely walk-on, so I don't know what it's like normally on a busy day. However, it's got quite a lot of queue line around there. I don't know if I saw all of it, maybe there was some extensions and stuff closed off, but from what I saw, quite a nice queue line, all wooden fences, and some great views of the coaster, and you're kind of in the courtyard really of the castle. You've also got like a pre-show area down there as well that you come to before you make your way up some steps and up into the station itself. So I really do like that, how you've got most of the queue line downstairs, a pre-show, and then you go up the steps and then you enter into this station. And following on with the theme of the rest of the area, what you've seen so far with Lech Coaster, it's incredible. The station's really nice. It's got these wooden beams all throughout the top. It's got all the flags down the side, a really nice feel to it. But most importantly, and the key feature of this station, is the fact they've actually got a piece of track that comes through like a station fly-through. But it's not like it would normally be. It's actually an inversion that goes straight above you. So you're waiting there in the air gates. And when I was there, you know, it was running one train, so I was waiting for it to come round. And you'd stand there in the station and you'd see the coaster go up into this corkscrew directly above the station. And honestly, absolutely gorgeous. So before you've even sat in the ride, you've got this experience that's built up so much with Lech Coaster. And then of course, you start to get onto the ride itself and into the trains on this one. But like I say, I love all the build up of all the different stages for this. In terms of the trains, you can seat 20 riders per train, 2 across, 2 people next to each other, and it's got a vest restraint with a seat belt. Very, very comfortable trains on Lech Coaster. They've got very low sides as well, and you pull down on your over-the-shoulder restraint, and like I say, the vest doesn't sort of, once it's locked, it doesn't start getting tighter and stuff throughout the ride. You're very open, very free on that ride. Vekoma have completely changed their whole sort of concept with some of these rides. You go back to like the suspended looping coasters and the boomerangs. Yes, they sold loads of them and they were very popular rides, but Vekoma as a company have come on so much, and Lech Coaster is one of those rides that, you know, you really see, blimey, Vekoma's come a long way. They really have. I've always enjoyed a lot of their rides, not so much the SLCs, but what they did over the years, and they've evolved and developed and produced something absolutely stunning. So you take your seat on Lech Coaster and the adventure begins. So you start off by heading out of the station, dropping down a little bit to the right hand side before starting to climb the lift hill. Quite a fast lift hill actually on Lech Coaster. It doesn't mess about. It's straight up onto it. Again, building up that anticipation because you think, oh, we've got quite a while until we're going to be going down that big drop and around the rest of the ride. But really, you haven't got long at all. It's straight up that lift hill, 131 foot tall, all the way up to the top. So quite a tall coaster. And like I say, it's very imposing from the entrance. You look across the water, the positioning is absolutely gorgeous. Honestly, it's one of my favourite locations ever for a coaster. Just really like how they've directly lined it up with the entrance. When you get to the top of the 131 foot tall lift hill, you can see this absolutely huge drop. When you're on the front row, you get a ridiculous amount of hang time. When you're on the back row, you are whipped over this. And like I say, with the vest restraint, how it's designed, you're quite free on that. So when you've got your hands up in the air, on that back row, you are whipped down that first drop. And it is one of the best first drops ever on a coaster. I love it. Like, honestly, I had so many rides when I was there. I just kept re-riding it and re-riding it. Saw everything else at the park, but did Lech so many times as well. And honestly, that first drop is incredible. There's nothing else quite like it, especially with that train design and that size of a drop. It's just really, really nicely done. As soon as you've come down that drop, and like I said, on the front you had that hang time, then it builds up more of the speed and intensity at the bottom. The back, it's whipped you over and keeping up that speed. You straight up then into the first inversion on the ride, and that's a reverse sidewinder. You're straight up into that, and as you're going up into it, you actually go through like a rockwork structure that's a really good near miss as well. Bear in mind, you've just come down that really steep drop into a near miss, then up into the reverse sidewinder. It's incredible that how much has been packed into this ride is crazy. Bear in mind, there's 2,979 feet of track on this, so they've packed a lot in to this in terms of the layout. Following on from that point, you go into some really snappy transitions to the left and to the right, really whipping you around. And this makes you realise how much of an intense ride this is. A lot of people have been on it now, and a lot of people have said, blimey, they didn't realise how intense it was going to be. I was the same when I went on it 2 years ago now. Honestly, when I first went on it, I was blown away with how intense it was. I really enjoy smooth and intense rides, so this was perfect for me. It wasn't rough at all. It's one of the smoothest coasters out there. You just wouldn't expect it from Vekoma, but what they're doing now is incredible. They've honestly made so many big leaps over the past few years, especially with the Bermuda Blitz model. It's incredible. You go through all these different transitions to the left and to the right, and then you go into this nice big airtime hill. Some really good ejector airtime on there. You are whipped straight up into your seat, no matter whether you're at the front, the middle, the back. you get some great airtime on that. And in terms of my favourite seat on this coaster, it's hard to decide. Front row's great for the view, but back row being whipped over that drop and up into some of them transitions, honestly, it's incredible. It kind of feels a little bit like Taron, but with inversions. And I know that's built by Intamin and, of course, at Phantasialand. But with you'll see what I mean if you ever get to ride this, with the snappy transitions to the left and right. It's got that Taron whip about it, but it's a Vekoma and it's ridiculously smooth. It's nuts. It really is how it's been designed. Following on from that point, you then go into an amazing near-miss element. I've already mentioned it already, and that's the corkscrew that goes straight through the station. Absolutely fantastic how it goes through the castle. You've got the turrets at the side, and you go up into it above the station. When you're waiting to ride, like I say, looking up to see that corkscrew is incredible, but when you're riding it and you just see people waiting down below in the air gates, it's all very quick how it happens, because it takes that inversion with a lot of speed, and it's very intense. But yeah, it just makes it the fact it goes straight through the station, not just a tunnel like it could have been. Oh no, like they wanted to go big with Lech Coaster, straight up flying through the station into this corkscrew that really is spectacular. At that point, you then dip down to the left under a big tree structure, what they've got, like a big bird's nest and stuff in there, all to do with the eagles and the theme of the ride. And then up into some more drops and twists, and again, really snappy transitions at this point. You carry on back round into another huge moment of airtime before you make your way round to the third and final inversion, that's also a second corkscrew on the ride. So you've got that reverse sidewinder and two corkscrews on this. So like I say, you've got the inversion, you've got the ridiculously good drop, and along with that you've got the snappy transitions, and the airtime. So you've got a bit of everything for everyone. Like, I'd always take airtime over inversions, but with Lech Coaster it's got that little chunk of everything put together to make a really good ride, and you don't always get that. You've got your hyper coasters from B&M, for example, that, you know, focus on the airtime, and then of course you've got your looping coasters from various different manufacturers, you know, that focus on the inversions but not so much the airtime. So with Lech, they just got it right with everything, you know, absolutely brilliant. Following on from this, you go into a couple of different helixes that again are very, very intense. And when I say that, we're talking grey out levels at some points of this ride. It is very, very intense on the body, and you know, you really feel it. You wouldn't expect it to be, but it is, just the way it's been designed and some of the elements on there. It is near blackout levels. If you don't like intense rides, you probably won't like Lech. Everyone who does reviews of this ride normally says it's very, very intense. You either love that or you don't love it, but me personally, I think it's the perfect mix. It's so re-rideable, and that's because of how smooth it is. After passing over the track various different times and coming out of them helixes and some more transitions and drops, you make your way into the brake run. Slows the train down really smooth. There's no, like some of these old Vekomas, sort of straight into the brake run, really rough. Nice and smooth, round to the right and back into the station. But yeah, the ride as an overall package, with the theming, the coaster itself, the way it's been designed all around this area, and how it looks. That's a big part of it for me, how it looks from off-ride and from other areas. Everything has been thought about with Lech Coaster, and it's one of them rides that I don't think there's anything at all what I could say would improve that ride or a change on that ride. I think that it is perfect just as it is. They've done an amazing job with it. If you get the chance to go and ride it, I definitely recommend it. Poland is a great place to go and visit. You've got Legendia that's not too far away. You can either hire a car and drive or use public transport. But I've filmed travel vlogs about that before on the channel that are definitely worth checking out if you are planning a trip to Poland to see the theme parks. There's some more parks in Poland that I'd like to see as well in the future, and I'd definitely love to get back here and go and see the changes. They've got a new Rapids ride opening up this year, fingers crossed if the park can open. But along with that, you know, other changes that are going to be coming in, and I really look forward to following the development of Legendia and in general the theme parks in Poland. It's turned from not a lot happening over there to everything. Like, there's so much development going on, especially at Legendia and Energylandia, of course, with all their investments. But it's an incredible ride. It's a really nice themed area, and it's intense, and it's got so much packed into it. That's why it makes it an incredible ride for me. And I went into the gift shop and I thought, you know what, I love Lech Coaster that much, I'm buying the t-shirt. So there we go, that's my Lech Coaster t-shirt. You can see you've got the eagle and all the branding for the ride on there. I loved it. I thought I've got to have one of those. But there we go. Have you been to Legendia and experienced Lech Coaster, or would you like to go and visit it in the future? Let me know your thoughts down below in the video below comments. I would love to know. Loads more reviews coming up on Theme Park Worldwide, so stay tuned, along with lots and lots of other different style videos here on the channel as well. I'm Sean Sandbrook, thanks for watching, and that means it's time to cue those credits. See you in the next video.